for just a mum that comes on and looks at the action plan, because now that we've got the people can actually give feedback to you. Yep. So there's that public consultation that's here until 11th of April,
11th
I think?
of April, yeah. That's right. So we've essentially launched the action plan for community consultation, and this was what was done. It's the initial action plan for delivery in February, because we knew we had to do something urgently and immediately. Let's get this happening. Let's get the climate emergency acknowledgement and declaration out too, and make sure that people know that we do care, that this is something that's really important, but it needs to be encompassed in an action plan. So we want your feedback now. It's up on online on the Have You Say section of the council website, so people can go in, identify what we've missed, add things that they think should be in there, and then we'll go for a much more detailed action plan and implementation plan from there. So it's an ongoing piece. This is something that we will be building into the future in order to make sure we are addressing all the things we need to address, and it's very much community driven. Because we know the community wants to take responsibility for their own survival and their own sustainability. So I was just actually talking to ABC TV about the recycling program and the contaminants in the recycling, and people just don't know. So as soon as they know, by the way, don't put plastic bags in the yellow bin, as soon as they know not to do that, then we actually have a much better result in our landfill. We reduced the landfill significantly and increased the amount of stuff that's recycled. So it's actually just understanding what to do, how we're doing at the moment, how we can improve it, and set targets around all those sorts of things.
It's such a big job, isn't it? Like, I mean, when we think, what have we got, 250,000 population here in the region now, and I think that bin, as you know, is like close to my heart. My heart. And how is that going to happen? Like, and that's just one part of, that's a tiny part of this whole action plan, and of what needs to occur, what actions need to take place after declaring a climate emergency and knowing that things need to change. That one act, I got a note in my mailbox the other day saying that they're going to come and check my bins, and I thought, well, I know what goes in the bin because I know. But I don't know because I've seen it anywhere. I don't know because anyone's taught it to me. I know because I've, resourced and that's my industry. How does the neighbour know what goes in the bin, and what's going to happen to them if they've put something wrong in it?
It's good. They're all good questions. And look, we have tried, the comms team has done a good job trying to get the message out, but we've been holding off waiting for the state government to do their circular economy policy as well, because we didn't want to charge down and get a fourth bin if that wasn't going to be the way they went. So now we know, we have a much clearer idea of where the state government's going, but it's really critical that every local council and every organisation involved in recycling sends out the same consistent messages, because I think confusion has been a big part of the problem. And exactly as you say, how do people know about it? You can go to the website. The City of Greater Geelong website under Waste and Recycling is fantastic. If you want to know what to do with anything at all, it'll be listed there, and it'll tell you where you can put it, where you can take it to, who will pick it up, all that sort of stuff. So that's the first port of call if you actually don't know and you're online. But there have been a few changes around what goes in the yellow bins. So no longer do we have the wax-lined cartons, so no milk cartons, no Tetra Packs, those sorts of things don't go in the yellow bin anymore. And jars are still okay, but separate the lids from the jars. So there's a couple of small changes that people, I know I'm still saying to my family, don't put the milk cartons in. They have to go in the actual red bin. So there's a few little changes. But look, the campaign will increase, and as we get clarity from the state government, I know the G21 councils have got a pact to make sure that we all put out consistent messages. So we do need to make that a real focus, because I think people aren't educated.
No, and I think that's the key to what you said, if you want to know. And we want to know, because we love our environment. Anybody that probably will look at this framework and send in in their thoughts, they all want to know what happens to the people that don't want to know or don't care or don't,
because really small percentage. I actually just followed the truck around, and they have a laptop the guys drive behind to check what's going into the hopper, into the clean away truck. Oh, okay. So as they empty the bin, you can see on the camera what's actually going in. And if they see plastic bags or whatever going in, they know which bin it is, and they just put a sticker on that person's bin saying, oh, by the way, don't put plastic bags in, blah, blah, blah. Give them a little what to put in and what not to put in sticker. Absolutely absolutely not punitive. It's not about punishing people, it's about educating people.
Yeah, great.
And they said that recycling, there's only about 5% of the population that sort of consistently get it wrong.
Right.
And it's usually plastic bags.
Okay,
and it's
yeah,
not a very high percentage
uncommon because
now.
teenagers, they're going to put it all in a plastic bag,
that's
take
right.
it out to the bin,
Yeah.
and they're not going to put
Empty it out. Leave the plastic bag out of the yellow
get
bin.
this job done as quick as possible and just throw it in there. So how do you think that meeting went, that the actual declaration of climate emergency, that council meeting, like any thoughts or, what you'd like to say of like how then it's passed and it's done?
Look, it was good to get it done. We got a unanimous vote. That was my objective, was to get as many councillors across the line as we could with climate emergency and with a broader sustainability approach. And I knew that it was hard to make people wait, and honestly we got a lot of flack for making people wait, but I knew that it was going to work properly in the end. And now we've got something that the City of Greater Geelong is locked into, this particular action plan, but also the reporting framework, having a formal policy. So now there's a level of accountability that hasn't been there before.
Yeah.
And I know there has been a few people saying, GRI is just greenwashing. Well, it's not if it's done properly, and like anything, some organisations won't do things properly. Some people will just declare a climate emergency and do nothing. That's greenwashing as well. So when the GRI is done properly, and the City of Greater Geelong will absolutely do it properly, it is about listing exactly how you're travelling at the moment across all the different indicators, and that's things like labour relations, it's how many women you've got in senior management, it's what's your absenteeism levels, it's all those sorts of things, as well as your energy use, your water use, all those sorts of indicators as well. So, and economic as well. So it is across the three, the economic, the social and the environmental bottom lines, and it makes us really aware and accountable of how we're tracking now, because the baseline we don't have at the moment, and that's something I've been saying since I started. We've got the council plan and we've got some targets, but the targets are not necessarily the right targets to measure things that we know whether we're doing the right thing, what are we measuring, what is it showing us. There was a campaign at BHP, and it was the best thing that the most succinct and clearest, I suppose, approach to anything. It's get the right data and get the data right. And that's what we need to do. We need to make sure we're getting the right data, because I've been reading the annual report at City of Greater Geelong for 20 years and thinking, I don't know why they're collecting that data. It doesn't actually indicate anything useful.
Sure.
So this is the set of data, set of indicators that's used best practice. It's something like 74% of the world's top 250 companies use this, so it's used by a lot of people.
Yeah, great.
So it's very much a credible thing. It's on the way with using SDGs as well. The Sustainable Development Goals is something that people are starting to move towards, but of course they're much broader, and one of the things that I find governments are very good at is keeping things so broad that it is hard to be accountable.
Yes.
And GRI is very specific. It's actually, what are your numbers on this? What is your actual electricity consumption? Whereas the SDGs are a little bit more umbrella. Well, yeah, I think all-encompassing. And you can definitely align the two, and you can go towards, SDGs too. But at the moment, I think the City of Greater Geelong needs to be really quite specific about their accountability.
Yeah.
The Sustainable Hour.
For a green, clean, sustainable Geelong. The Sustainable Hour.